now that part of the program when we shall
Unbox, 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 unbox.
Alright, once again, it looks like Brick something might have messed up and wasn't paying close attention when he was either ordering or organizing from Big Bad Toy Store. Apparently, there were a couple of pre-orders that I'd placed a while back, and for whatever reason, I set it to ship rather than to send him my pile of loot. And once again, I kind of wasted $4 to ship one figure. Bummer, but at the end of the day, not really a waste if what's inside here is super cool. So let's take a look. Big Bad Toy Store. Here we go. Let's take a look at what's inside.
Unbox, unbox.
Uh-oh. Something scary. Something creepy. This figure is what's known as a Vargg in Mythic Legions. It's part of the current Alithia wave that's been shipping and is currently in stock in a lot of different retailers. So this is one that I actually pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store, and I believe it might still be in stock. I think this figure is incredibly cool. A Vargg is basically like a bloodhound, a sort of enslaved creature that I believe the vampires in Mythos actually sort of bred and created. So apparently there's going to be a bunch of these guys roaming around with the armies of the undead forces of Alithia. They're described as sort of their bloodhounds that they take on them to hunt for their prey. This is going to be a deluxe figure, so you'll notice it comes in bigger packaging, and that's because of these massive wings that are inside. So let's take a look. Right, so if you're not really familiar with Mythic Legions, again, I'm a total newbie. So let's talk lore of Mythos real quick. So the basic idea is that there's this place called Mythos that's created by these two godlike beings. They're essentially a couple. And one of them creates a beautiful utopic world where beings are happy, resources are in abundance, people are creating art, culture, music, etc., and things are great. Unfortunately, the other being gets jealous of the love that is being poured into the beings on this newly created world. And so decides to kind of ruin things by sending down 4 baddies, if you will, the big bads. And this is again by the Four Horsemen Studios. And so the Four Horsemen Studios get their name from the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse from the book of Revelation in the New Testament, in the Christian Bible. In that, there's this notion of these 4 horsemen who will come at the end of days in the form of war, in the form of famine, in the form of pestilence, and ultimately death. So in this world, you have versions of these 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. This one is part of the faction of Alithia, a vampiric leader of these forces that essentially are famine. Here you have Erethyr, a figure that I got on the second market recently that's new to me, but by no means new. Anyway, I'm totally new to this line, but how excited am I to be able to open a figure that's relatively current, that people are just sort of getting their hands on. Let's take a look at what's going on with Vargg. So first off, what's really awesome about Mythic Legions is their collector-friendly packaging. This is a blister pack, if you will, or the plastic, right? So you got the plastic, but it's not glued down. So I can open this figure, take the contents out, and if I wanted to, put it back. The other cool thing about this is the artwork. I mean, take a look at this painting by Nate Bartsch. Again, this is Alithia, who is a part of this wave. I don't know who these folks are, and y'all will have to educate me in the comments if you do, or if these are just teases of things to come. And we have Erethyr here, who essentially is the rider of war, depicted here by Nate Bartsch, and just, you know, an amazing painting on package, and this is the actual figure. And I bring this up here today and show him here because this was my first actual figure with wings from Mythic Legions. This is him, that's him, amazing. And now in the Vargg, I have another figure. Same wings, repainted. Yeah, they're the same wings, but they are just, the paint job is phenomenal. And if you'll notice, even from here, you can probably tell that this guy's a little smaller. And I think that's partially what convinced me to get him. At first I was like, I've got already getting this winged creature. But when I saw this guy and found out that he was smaller, there's something really intriguing about that idea of like a tiny bloodhound, right? So let's take a look and let's release the Vargg. So as I've already said, collector packaging is dope. I can open this thing. There's some tape. All right, so I finally got that open. I'm gonna do it this way so you can kind of see how awesome it is to have collector-friendly packaging. Just look at that artwork. I love it. I have this character. Look at that thing. That, if we get anything close to that, whew. For now, I'm happy with some of the creatures I have. I'm happy integrating that D20 wolf. I'm really excited about what I'm seeing from Creative Beast Studios of their Arctic Dragon. But anyways, excited. That said, let's get back to this. The back of Vargg. Here he is. Always packed so beautifully. You can tell the Four Horsemen are collectors and want to support collectors and make sure they just have an impressive, exciting unboxing experience. Look at this guy. You can already see how cool he is in this little tiny little body, right? But like taut, muscular, beefy, bloodhoundy guy. All right, let's get him out of here. That's a Vargg. Look at this guy. And again, just for reference, let's get some of these evil baddies. Different faction. So you've got Arethyr there, but for size comparison, take a look at that. That body, that just size and stature is fantastic. Look at that face. Look at that guy. Woo. The sculpt work on this guy. Fantastic. Basic articulation is run down like this, right? You've got the arms that can come out. I should probably warm him up as they recommend, but right, I generally don't. And these turn, the forearms, the wrist, these bend too, up and down. I'm not necessarily gonna do them because I haven't warmed them up. Literally just shipped today. It's one of the rare instances where I'm unboxing same day. You can kind of see the legs right in that setup here, and they swivel at the thigh and they swivel at the knee and they swivel at the ankle, and they of course bend at the knee. You got the ankle on a ball joint. You've got the waist at a ball joint. So you can get these guys and just looking fierce, right? And ready to brawl. Ready to go. Okay. That's the Vargg. Get a quick look at the goodies. He's got this collar that goes around his neck. He's got this amazing kind of axe slash scythe-ish slash whatever. No, he's like a bloodhound, right? So you got one with a handle, and that wraps around, I believe, his neck. And these around his arms as sort of manacles. I think you probably put them on his ankles as well. Alternate hands. Cool sword. Cool little mace looking thing. This is good stuff. The Vargg's got wings. So again, packed super well. Just like Arethyr's back here, but in white detail off the chain. You can see they're both amazing figures together, but I'm going to take this guy away. He's got to go lead his forces of war. As you can see, he stands up pretty easily. I just kind of threw him on there. He's got the big old feet that makes it super easy for him to just kind of get situated. Stand up. You'll see here the different connections for pauldrons and wings if you're not too familiar. The Vargg. Arg. So here we have the wings. So these two holes up here are where you normally put in pauldrons, but I'm assuming these can go in directly. Yeah, I guess they do. But if you wanted to have pauldrons and wings, you'd need to use the wing adapter here. Yeah, this guy doesn't have pauldrons off the bat. The bat. You can see sort of the paint job on these. There's excess paint there that's actually on the peg that seems to be kind of coming off, and you can kind of see right there that's bare plastic, what that looks like. And then you can see me kind of putting it into his back. A little bit of a twist. I know that's taking off some of that excess paint. Yeah, this joint is really tight right now. So now I can put it in the Vargg's back. Of course, with wings. Oh, he's not bad. Look, again, his giant feet. Man, this guy can really balance out pretty good. Real stable. I'll let you look at that for a little bit while I heat up the other wing. A little bit of time underneath that heat gun and loosened it. Pretty good. Alright, now this is way too much weight on this poor guy. He's needing his wings to hold himself up. But take a look at this thing, and this is something straight out of a film. Right, I could have seen this back in the day in an 80s horror film or a 90s film. You know, the likes of like An American Werewolf in London, some of that awesome movie magic, or even it reminds me of a little bit of the Underworld series. Those wings are just so beautiful. So let's go ahead and take out some of these accessories that he comes with and take a look. You've got this hook style bladed weapon staff, very cool. You can see sort of the detail on this handle. Beautiful paint job. Not a whole lot special, but just that, again, that detail of not letting this just be this plastic color, but adding that black for the handle. Very cool. This is a collar piece, which is really similar to what Arethyr has around his neck. This amazing mace. This thing is really cool. And again, I'm pretty sure most of these things are not new. They're new to me because I'm a new Mythic Legions collector. But a lot of these, I'm pretty sure, are just sort of repaints of things that have come out before. But they're just so well sculpted, the detail on these things. This I'm familiar with because it was the same sword that the Shira tribute figure came with. Cool little purple jewel. You've got, of course, the well-manicured vampire hands. Looking like a member of Antioch Arrow back in the day, if that reference makes sense to you. Very cool. Cool hands, right? These look like sort of weapon-holding hands, I guess. Yeah. And then you've got the sort of manacles that can go around his arms, or you can put this on one character and the handler, if you will, and the other on the Vargg. Or you could actually put this around the Vargg's neck, I believe. Have it held by another character. Pop the head right off. You can take this sort of I don't know what you call it, cowl piece, neck armor. And he pretty quickly gets this new sort of armored look. I love that head. It's just so cool looking. It's a cool little bat vampire. And I love that he's smaller than the other characters. Right, and there he is, chained up, right, by his master. And then, again, he can be controlled. This around the neck.
Let's play master and servant.
Ugh. Again, so dark. But so cool. This is actually heavy. This has got to be some kind of metal. You know, you can imagine carrying this guy around on a leash. Whew, that's rough. That's uncomfortable for me, but whatever. It's a toy. These are just great figures. That's all I'll say. I mean, I'm excited to be current with where Mythic Legions is sort of at right now. And I'm excited to kind of be here. I feel like, yeah, doing the channel and I'm connecting with folks a little bit more, and I'm kind of around for this wave, and I'm excited. What's going on here? It looks like his loincloth there has been a little bent under. There you go. These are all sort of soft rubbery bits, this armor, if you want to kind of get a better understanding of how these figures are constructed. Look at the little sort of chainmail details, and there's some paint on there to really bring out the details of all that. This is just a premium figure. And so, this isn't just me trying to convince myself that it's okay to spend this money, because, it's a lot of money. I saw the reviews of this and was just like, I think I want it. I think I want to participate. I think I want to be a part of the Alithia unboxing. And here I am. I mean, you've seen the details on this, the real chain, the metal handle, the painting. Look at that. The shading on that chest, that face. Just notice another detail here. Look at these. These sort of like manacle chain things are pretty amazing. If you can see, there's a little keyhole sculpted into that. That's just amazing. And so much respect for the artistry of the Four Horsemen and their production team and their factories, and whoever's doing the painting, the workers doing the painting. You just really got to acknowledge the level of skill and talent, as I've said before. Take a look at this head a little bit closer, right? Look at the overall shape of it, the silhouette. So it's one thing you get the Four Horsemen drawing these things out, designing these things out, sculpting them out digitally, and then you got to get the factory folks to reproduce it hundreds of thousands of times, I'm assuming. Maybe it's tens of thousands, I don't know, but it's a lot of freaking times, and yet they look so good. I mean, this is figure number what of what? And to think these things are being mass produced, this is not, like, this is next level stuff. This is the kind of thing where you go, I know it's possible for great figs to happen. It might mean more expense. It might mean having to pay more as a collector. But we know what's possible at a certain price point, right? So I know that gets real frustrating for collectors in other lines. These are really just truly, truly premium figures, especially when you kind of compare them to some of the other things. And on that note, let me go ahead and just get a couple guys for size comparison. For example, here we have a Vargg with Hordak. Fits right in as far as I'm concerned. That's how I sort of choose my characters. They kind of have to generally fit into this Masters of the Universe sort of anchored aesthetic where both science and fantasy collide, but with the likes of your Jack Kirby and New Gods and the science fantasy genre. So as I mentioned in the unboxing of this Master vs. Hordak figure, this entire faction, the Horde, was modeled after the Universal monsters, and Hordak himself being sort of the stand-in for Dracula, a vampire. And here you have an awesome vampire figure. There are a lot of impressions about how expensive and out of reach Mythic Legions are, and clearly they're great figures. But here's the deal. I think what a lot of people are responding to is how expensive they're seeing these things on the secondary market. It's just not accurate to take a look at eBay prices. And as toy collectors, we know that. So then you go to the stores, Big Bad Toy Store, Nerdzoic, and Empire Toy Shop, and those are the retail prices. And yeah, you look at a $55 figure like this, regardless of how amazing the quality is. I fully understand that that feels out of reach. $55 for a figure? Totally get it. However, a lot of folks don't seem to understand the way this model works for Four Horsemen. They put these figures out early. They make them available for pre-order on their shop. And there's a special pre-order price. The Vargg here, for example, was available for pre-order for $40. Now, if you consider the all-in price of the entire line, $495, take into account that there are 16 items, read this breakdown that you're seeing on the screen, and at the end of the day, we're talking about $32 a figure. Granted, that's not that simple because there are actually much larger, more expensive figures thrown in there. We're talking a couple different animals, a centaur, but let's just simplify it. $32.12 for the Vargg, if you were around and ready to go when they were pre-ordering. I know that's not a model people are used to, But when you consider that people are talking about how expensive and out of reach these Mythic Legions are, and you look at that $32.12 price, and you compare it to what's in the toy aisles now, I mean, take a look. This is me at my local Target. Look at these prices. You're talking about standard figures that are well over $25. Deluxe figures that are well over $30. For whatever reason, Hasbro Black Series that are $40+. Kind of makes you scratch your head and go, is Mythic Legions really that expensive? To be fair, the prices are going up, but the most recent All-Star Plus wave I went in on, and the figures basically work out to be about $34 each. How much did I pay for Hordak again? How much did I pay for New Eternia Beastman? Awkward. Okay, well, back to our figure. Here we have the Vargg chilling with Hordak. And here we have another member of the Horde, Mantenna, as designed by the Four Horsemen themselves when they were working with Mattel on the Masters of the Universe Classics. You can see the quality character design between Masterverse carrying through to the Mythic Legions line in the Vargg. And while I love my creature figures, I also love a good human. Who else can stand next to these evil Horde figures but She-Ra herself? You can see the different size comparison and just how great these figures all work together. Just throw in Arethyr here, unmasked. Happy Halloween, folks. The Horde and the forces of Arethyr and Alithia are coming together. There's a couple of Vargs on the way, and She-Ra's trying to wrap her head around what's gonna happen. So that'll do it for this unbox something of the Vargg from Mythic Legions. I'm really just excited to feel like I'm part of the current wave of things that are happening with this toy line. Continually blown away when I get to open and handle one of these figures. And it just seems these newer figures just keep stepping it up. And once again, thank you for hanging out with me and checking out the videos here on Brick Something. Please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. If you're looking for even more of a toy fix right now, see the link to the left to check out a fellow member of the Legion of Lesser Toy Tubers. Gracias por ver este video. Salamat sa inyong lahat. And as always, peace and power.